Give me a moment with your friend. I've never been up for my thoughts before.
Welcome to the Only One Mic podcast. Paul, Gerard, Brooklyn, Trey. J-Rob is in the building. How you doing, brothers?
What up?
All right, y'all. All right, man. Listen, we're going to just jump right into it, man. No need for the fancy intros. This Jerry Jones thing is taking some new legs, folks.
Jerry.
Get him.
Yeah, so now we have, LeBron is, gave his response to the whole situation with Jerry Jones, which was handled in a very classy manner, if you ask me.
Definitely.
What y'all think about that? Very classy, man.
So salute to LeBron for handling it like a gentleman.
Let me tell you something about LeBron, man. You don't have to actually be a fan of how he plays, anything like that. But he is one of, I would say like maybe almost like our generation's Muhammad Ali,
Bill Russell,
Bill Russells, and that actually is standing up for some stuff. So salute to LeBron.
Hey, listen, me and J-Rob always talk about it. I don't like his on court antics, man. You know what I mean? I think he kind of killed the NBA for me. You know what I mean? But with the super team thing, but I'm gonna make a declaration here.
Yeah, Michael Jordan's the best ever.
I'm gonna make a declaration here, man. I'm putting him in my top 5 now, man. He's in my top 5, man. Got to put him just for the social.
Yeah, just for the social.
I'll say it like this: Michael Jordan is the best ever.
Player, best player.
Yeah.
Best player, yeah.
Player,
yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
I ain't gonna get no mic.
LeBron's he's a throwback, man.
Throwback, yeah.
He's a throwback. Ain't nobody doing nothing have nobody done nothing like LeBron in years, with social work, man, within the black community, man.
Just having the gumption to actually say something about these issues where most people would never even touch them, never even speak on it.
Yeah.
And again, like we said before, he picks the right issue.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm watching, some of the people that we done talked about, within the past weeks, Kyrie and, the Kanye's and whatever, they got these fights, but there's little problems in all of those fights. Right. He picks the right fight.
So before we go any further, brothers, we're going to have to backtrack. And I want to play the actual reaction again to what Jerry Jones thought about the photo, his explanation, if you will, about that photo that, he took. Or he was seen in. I'm not going to say that he took it. He was seen in.
Right.
So here's Jerry Jones. We're going to play this and get your opinions on it again, guys.
Jerry, any thoughts on the Washington Post article and how the picture they painted of you from a picture when you were 14 years old?
Yeah, that was, 65 years ago, and a curious kid. I didn't know at the time the monumental event, really, that was going on, and I'm sure glad that we're a long way from that. I am, and we just that would remind me just continue to do everything we can to not have those kinds of things happen.
Any regrets just being in the photo, being there at all?
What?
Any regrets on being in the photo, being there at all?
Well, I wouldn't have just dug that up, for sure. Right. I mean, seriously. But that was curiously, I got criticized because I was more interested in how I was going to be punished by my coaches and everybody for being out front. But nobody there had any idea, frankly, what was going to take place. We didn't have all the last 70 years of reference and all the things that were going. And so you didn't have a reference point there. Still, I've got a habit of sticking this nose in the right place at the wrong time.
Did you get in trouble with your coach for being there?
I sure did.
What was the punishment?
Well, I was a young sophomore trying to make the team, and they kicked my ass.
Jerry, it came out to the Little Rock situation at Little Rock Central, though, right? That photo and that incident.
Excuse me?
That incident came out to the situation in Little Rock Central.
Well, that was North Little Rock,
Right.
which was literally just 2 or 3 miles away.
Was it the same day as Little Rock Central that came on a
As
different day?
as I recall, it was certainly in proximity with it. Those were certainly the issues that were going on, but did not have the structure or it was not the event that the central thing was.
Jerry, do you understand the perception that people have of you standing there? Because that was not exactly a welcoming committee that day.
Yeah, I sure do, and I understand that. And, I've just understand it. Yes.
So for the people that look at that and say you were a part of that, and you're saying you were curious, and other people are saying, well, this was a crowd, basically,
Look, that was 65 years ago, and I had no idea when I walked up there what we were doing, and it just is a reminder to me of how to improve and do things the right way.
So what did you think of the crowd who, these kids were just trying to go to school? There was a whole lot of people, there was a lot of hostility towards these kids.
Yeah, you want to ask me what I was thinking? Okay, I was thinking about I'm going to get in trouble for being up here, and I didn't know what was going on, and I was 15 years old. And so having said that, that's all that I can remember.
Okay.
Come on,
Right.
Jerry.
Yeah. So this is the full context, folks. I know we played it the last episode or the episode before last, and we just had to get the full scope of it. So what you guys think about that?
The first thing is that when he says he does not know, like now, since the last show, I done did some homework on this, and I don't know what day he showed up to this event, but this event had been going on for a while. One of the initial issues is that when those kids could not get into school, the state actually called out the National Guard, Arkansas National Guard, and the black kids thought the Arkansas National Guard was there to protect them, but they was also there to keep them out of the school. Wow. So then the president of that time had to bring in
Eisenhower, I believe it was.
Eisenhower. He had to bring in the troop in order to get them into school.
The troops had to go against the National Guard.
Yeah, so this was a big deal. When he says it, like, it's kind of like matter of factly, like, I just went up there to see what happened or whatever, what was going on. Like, again, I'm not going to hold it against him that he's 14 years old. You might as well tell the truth.
Yeah.
He said something. He said something along the lines of he's glad that he's a long way from that.
Yeah,
a long way from that.
Yeah, what does that mean?
That shows you he knew exactly what was going on.
Right.
They was not a welcoming committee to welcome them kids into that school.
Yeah. And then the whole statement, curious. What does that mean? I was curious about it.
Yeah, I thought that was a little strange too, because I'm like, it's 1957. It's not like this is something that just happened and it's like, okay, I want to go see, I got to check this out for myself. Right. Racism has been going on the whole time, especially in the state where he's from. So it's not anything to be curious about. That's the thing that kind of got me it's not the thing to be curious about. It's not like something that's new to you and it's fresh in your head. The same guys that you're probably standing around, these are friends that you probably hung out with or whatever outside. Either way, you're in your community, and this is 1957. You know what I mean? So it's nothing to be curious about. You know what racism is hitting for.
It's just so much in that conversation that just opens up a whole bunch of can of worms. You know what I mean? And again, nobody's holding him to what he thought at 14. The problem is that when we go into the future and we start, thinking about this Kaepernick situation and the stand that he took on that, it makes you think, you still got a lot of that in you. Even one of the questions they asked him, did he have any regrets for being there that day?
Yeah.
Most people, right now, especially after you realize you got knowledge and wisdom and you're wiser and, you have obviously had some relationship with African American people, you would say, definitely, I have a regret. I shouldn't have been there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the whole problem. I think in that interview, the more that you listen to the whole interview, it's like he's not really like denouncing.
He's not really taking accountability for what he was actually there to do. My thing was the fact that with that talking point of being curious is like that was something that was prepped and was like you got to hit this particular point because if you're a curious kid, you're just a kid, and it's able to be forgiven. Another thing that he said was how he didn't know what was going on. Come on, man. This is America in 1957. You don't know what's going on?
You're privy to the same information that we are. I'm pretty sure, and this is high school, so I'm pretty sure this was floating around the walls of your high school, that this is about to go down and this is where we need to be when it does.
As well as your parents and your coaches, they're all talking about this.
When he said, he was scared, he was worried about getting in trouble with his coaches.
With the coaches, yeah.
Why would you get in trouble with your coaches? What were you doing that was, tired of what your coaches wanted you to do? The coaches probably was like they didn't want him to go out there and be a part of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The concern was more about what your coaches thought as opposed to right and wrong.
What you were doing, you were doing to the intimidation that you were bringing to these children.
Yeah, I was more concerned about what the coaches were saying.
And he said, I got in trouble.
Yeah, he
said I got in trouble.
Me
personally, I think that was just something to say.
It's just something to say. And then the blow off of it really just to say, well, look, that was, over 60 some odd years ago. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right. That was over 60 something years ago. So are you questioning my thought pattern 60 something years ago or whatever? Like, yes, maybe we are.
Like I told you before in the previous interview, going to school in Lefferts Junior High School, with the Haitians and us. And, at that time we were kids and, they had one floor, we had one floor. It's like us against them, as kids. It was stupid. You know what I mean? I denounced it. I grew up with a lot of wonderful Haitian people. We had, great relationships. They're like my brothers and stuff like that, man. So, this is something that you did as a child, so if he had came out and just said something, he's an impressionable kid. I get it. You know what I mean? So tell the truth. The problem is that, going forward, when you start, hiding it, it tells us that there's something to hide there. You know what I mean?
I guess the concern, sorry, Jay, but the concern is more or less is that, yes, we believe people can change, but have you? That's the question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We believe that.
Clearly he hasn't, because one of the things that he did is he deflected the situation. He could remember what happened to the coaches, but when they asked him about his thought process and why he was there, I don't remember. It was 60-something years ago.
I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
Dealing with this whole thing, it made me pull up the Little Rock Nine, start looking at some of that stuff. Shout out to, I believe it's Elizabeth Eckford. That's the young lady that, I guess she had came to school one day by herself and she had to deal with the mob for Dolo by herself.
Wow.
Walked through the whole crowd, people spitting on her and pushing her and all kind of other stuff like that. She stood tall. Yo, I mean, if you watch the video, man, her face was stoned. Didn't shed a tear, nothing. You know what I mean? And walked through a crowd. Wasn't a black face in sight, so shout out to her.
A real American hero. You know what I mean?
And this was a big thing. This is something when he kind of plays it. And this is a big thing. This is a big thing in American history. That's one of the biggest things in American history. You know what I mean?
Kind of playing it like, I just want to see how this turned out.
Yeah, this was a
like
big
a street fight. This is just, this is somebody could possibly lose their life just for getting an education. Mm-hmm. You looking at it like it's just something like, I just want to see how this play out. Yeah, that's the only reason I was there.
You was there the same reason why all them other people was there.
Yeah. Well, again, like you said, everybody deserves the benefit of the doubt, but it looked a little, his, you know what's funny? You can give him the benefit of the doubt, right? But when he starts talking and explaining this, that's when you be like, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the more you talk, the stupider it sounds.
Yeah, it sounds real dumb. I was curious. Either you knew what you was doing at 14. You knew what side you was on.
Yeah.
Be honest and then come out and tell the truth.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So the LeBron situation, what you guys think about that?
Hey, listen, I was actually thinking about this like, wow. Can we put LeBron's name with Muhammad Ali for this generation in this era?
I can't say nobody's in the thing of Muhammad, but I'll give him this. It used to be a time sports figures was like this all around.
Right.
It used to be,
what I mean? Yeah. But he's done something that's lost. And you got to credit a lot of these kids. I even credit Kyrie, man. I don't agree with everything he does, but I
stand 10 toes down for your belief, even when people are telling you it's wrong. But I mean, we don't subscribe to it. I get that.
Another kid too is what's the kid out of Boston?
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown, man. He always goes 10 toes down, man, and standing on certain things, and you got to give these kids some credit, man, in this generation for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
at least they're standing up for this type of thing. To be honest with you, Michael Jordan and all of them dropped that ball.
They sure did.
Yeah. They let that ball go a long time ago, man.
Look, the other night they asked Jaylen Brown, how did it feel to play in front of the royal family? It was like, man, it's just another game to me.
Yeah, right.
Put on a monkey show for these people. That's what you're asking. You know what I mean? That's what it is. All right, so we're gonna play LeBron's response. Actually, him calling out the reporters, I should say, for not asking about this Jerry Jones situation. Asking
Right.
him, I should say. You ask him
With,
about everything else
with
under the
dignity
sun.
and grace.
With dignity and grace. All right, we're going to go ahead and pump this real quick and we get your thoughts on it.
I was thinking when I was on my way over here, I was wondering why I haven't gotten a question from you guys about the Jerry Jones photo. But when the Kyrie thing was going on, you guys were quick to ask us questions about that.
Okay.
Hold on. And I don't even want you guys to say nothing. When I watched Kyrie talk and he says, I know who I am, but I want to keep the same energy when we're talking about my people and the things that we've been through. And that Jerry Jones photo is one of those moments that our people, black people, have been through in America. And I feel like as a black man, as a black athlete, as someone with power and a platform, when we do something wrong or something that people don't agree with, it's on every single tabloid, every single news coverage. It's on the bottom ticker. It's asked about every single day. But it seems like to me that the whole Jerry Jones situation photo, and I know it was years and years ago and we all make mistakes. I get it. But it seemed like it's just been buried under like, oh, it happened. Okay, we just move on. And I was just kind of disappointed that I haven't received that question from you guys.
Yes.
Did a good
Salute
job.
LeBron.
Salute.
Yeah. And you know what? This should right here, man. You know, this should go viral.
Right.
This is something that should go viral.
It
I mean, all the urban media sites. Well, I say it should go viral because we're talking about it now. This is the same thing that happened with Brett Favre. You know what I mean?
Can we not forget about Brett Favre?
Oh, no. Keep your foot on Brett Favre's neck. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
But I say all of that, man, is that hopefully it doesn't. Because I'm thinking that it will. It's probably going to be slipped under the rug and it's going to go. But all of these urban media sites and podcasts and stuff like that, they should push this. You know, if you got anybody talking about it, y'all should share it. Y'all should like it. You know what I mean? Subscribe to whatever page is actually, talking about it, because these things just constantly get pushed under the rug, man. And again, shout out to LeBron for bringing attention to it.
Absolutely. And you see what happens with that is too. For the LeBron making the statement that he made and standing up the way he did, the media focuses on another idiot who decides to go on another idiot show with another idiot and say idiot things. So that's just what, they want to focus on, which is unfortunate.
I don't think we should talk about that guy until we come out with some new music.
Yeah.
I ain't even talking about that.
I ain't talking about that.
If my bad, some hot music. If you make some hot music,
I don't care.
then I might discuss.
I don't care if the joint literally burns up your computer. I don't want it.
Listen, let me tell you, he couldn't sell me ice, man.
He's done.
If I was hot, man. You know what I mean? He couldn't sell me ice if I was hot.
That's for something else.
Yeah.
For something else. We're gonna hold that one.
But
all I got to say is,
like I said, he made a very good point in that interview, man. It's like, again, like Kyrie said, and again, I didn't ride with Kyrie on everything that he had going on. I ride with him only on the situation of freedom of religion. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because I want to be able to watch my pastor. I want to be able to go to church and serve the God that I read the Bible and understand as God, and that's the only reason that I rock with Kyrie. All the other stuff that he got going on, I could care less about. But I'll say this, one thing that he just said, keep the same energy.
yeah.
Why is Jerry Jones walking around? I don't even like the reporters, how they ask the questions. Like when he said, something simple as I got in trouble with my coach. Like, why did you get in trouble with your coach?
In journalism,
what happened?
We know this as being a softball question. Like you softball the interview pretty much.
Yeah.
Then I hit him with hard.
You don't have any regrets, Jerry?
Right.
And then you're going to tell me you don't even respond to, yes or no. Do I have any regrets? Like, why don't you have any regrets? Do you realize what happened here?
Yeah. Do you denounce racism, Jerry?
Yeah.
In all its forms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What were you curious about?
Have you ever visited the African American History Museum?
Yeah.
I think you should go.
Yeah, he need to go. You need to kick off $250,000 to the NAACP or something.
But listen though, fellas, just because you go don't mean you're educated.
I don't care about him going. I think
He could go for a photo op. That don't necessarily mean he's walking away with no information.
Listen, the reason why he should go is simply the reason why we end up going to these things. You know what I mean?
No. Here's a better.
I think they had Nick Cannon do a whole.
He did. Yeah,
rabbi run.
Supposedly rabbi. I'm not sure if y'all know this, but a few years ago, Deshaun Jackson actually had posted something on his social media.
Right.
They deemed as being anti-Semitic,
yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So they fined him, suspended him, and he had to go sit with the owner and watch all these
Holocaust tapes.
Yeah, Holocaust type movies, right?
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And they drop squad him.
People. Yeah, right.
They drop squad. Yeah, drop squad him.
People don't even talk about that, but they actually did that to a player, and it got swept under the rug because it was the NFL, probably. You know what I mean? But this is something that's been going on. It's like everybody else's pain within society is always more prevalent than the black experience. Yeah, and it just ain't right.
Hear me out. I think Jerry Jones should be re-educated historically, and he should have to spend at least a week in the projects in Brooklyn. And I tell you what,
of his choice.
NYCHA is not doing their job. So he should be under the same conditions that grandma is and auntie and everybody else with the holes in the walls and everything like that.
He can choose anyone he wants.
Yeah. Remember that movie, The Super? That's how he should be, like The Super. Like Joe Pesci joined The Super. You know, go ahead and spend some time in your own place, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? See what it's about.
You can choose anyone. Red Hook, Marcy, just enjoy yourself.
It has to be the projects. I don't want to hear condominiums. I don't want to hear none of that.
Oh, no.
You have to be in the projects, Jerry. You have to be there. Yeah.
So sad, man.
It is. But let's listen to Jerry's response to LeBron's criticism.
He has taken sports, he's taken his venues and used those platforms. I want to be sure that you know where I'm coming from. And it was made buttons pop off my vest, so to speak, when he would talk about how much of a Cowboy fan he was, and he would have made a great tight end. So, and that doesn't change. There's nothing about any of that changes. And I did hear what he had to say. Certainly, he has influence, and just because of all of the above, his accomplishments, his how he's utilized his sport, how he's utilized his platform, how we have done it. He has enhanced basketball. He's made a lot of people a lot of money. I hope I have too.
What does that got to do with all the tea in China?
Yeah. That sounded kind of crazy because it never really actually addressed what LeBron said at all.
Well, and that's the problem, man. Again, to the Jewish community or anybody's Jewish listening to this, again, we ain't racist or anything. We don't believe in none of that foolishness. But I'll say this. The way y'all feel about that first Kyrie apology is the same way black people feel about this first Jerry Jones dance around that he did. You know what I mean? And again, he would have necessarily had to apologize. I mean, all he had to do was denounce racism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just tell the truth, Jerry.
Just say, I denounce racism, man. You know what I mean? I don't agree with it. The fact that
he focuses on he made a lot of money. What does that have to do with anything? I'm still stuck on that because it almost sounds buckish. You know what I mean?
Slave master mentality.
Yeah, it almost sounds buckish to me, man.
I wish I could have had you down here on this plantation.
You picked a lot of cotton over there. Yeah. He picked a lot of cotton over there, man. That's a cotton picking nigga. Nigga right there.
Man, cotton picking nigga.
Yeah, I'm like, it sounded real weird, man.
A cotton picking Negro right there. Yeah, it sounded real weird, man.
It sounded real weird.
Yeah, but again, it sounds if you're I'll give you this, like that first apology that Kyrie had, right? Mm-hmm. If you listen to it, if you're like a Hebrew Israelite or one of these people, when you listen to that apology, I don't want to say it's apology. When you listen to what he said to his first response, you're gonna love it because you're gonna say he never fell back.
Right.
You understand? That's the same way a white racist can look at that comment, the last two comments that Jerry made. He's never denounced anything.
Nothing.
He just said, I'm curious, and, danced around it and threw a lot of other bull crap about, 65 years ago. Whatever. You ain't stupid. You know what I mean? It ain't like you senile or anything like that. You still cutting checks.
He definitely seemed to have his facilities and his brain in order. So we know that you ain't having no senior moment, Jerry. You know what's going on.
And then you got all of these people out here, I guess he done comped them and treated them, a lot of these black people, whatever the case may be, done comped them, treated them nice and everything like that. And they're still letting that slide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, and I was initially on the first episode the last episode we had, I was like, hey, listen, do we want to penalize them? You know what I mean? Do we want to go against them at 14? Which I still believe, you can have you can have bad thoughts at 14. As once you become a man and you change those things and your thoughts become more righteous, it's a different thing. But
if those things
if it change,
everybody don't change. You know what I mean?
And based upon him, the way he had those discussions, he ain't changed the way he sees things.
It almost seems like I don't want to say the wrong thing type of deal with him. It could have been crafted a little bit better. You know what I mean? If you're going to do that, like if you got a PR team, and I'm quite sure he does, that say, all right, we got to get out front with this thing. Denounce it, tell him you was wrong, your thought patterns. It's everything but that. You know what I mean? It's everything but.
It's because he's saying, look, basically, I am who I am. I feel how I feel. There's nothing y'all can do about it. But I'm gonna sit here and play this game with y'all, say a bunch of words, spin moves, and I'm gonna go about my business. And y'all gonna just deal with it.
But you know what? When you say a PR,
he need to take his team, man.
I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you what you think the end goal should be in this whole thing.
You know what? But you know what though? I can't even say that yet. But when you start, if you start looking at his history, you know what I mean? And then, it depends on how he does this. This situation right here depends on how he handles this. I think, we can start, looking at something like that, down the line.
But do you think that more pressure has to be applied from players within, black players within the NFL organization?
Well, that's what I said when you was talking about the PR team. I don't think they got a PR team for black people. When you disrespect black people, I don't think it's like a PR team. I think it's like a quick 5-minute meeting. Like go out there and tell them you're curious and whatever. If it's Jews, if it's Chinese people, if it's any other culture, they got a crash team that comes in and says, listen, we got to get this right and exact. You know what I mean?
But the man's a owner of a major NFL franchise. I mean, you got to have somebody on it. Besides
the Yankees, it might be the biggest American franchise and most profitable, most lucrative franchise in America.
Yeah. No, I'm saying they do have a PR team, but I don't think their PR team is as interested in correcting issues with African Americans as it is with everybody else.
Okay, I see what
you know what I mean? So I'm quite sure that's why it's no thought process in what he's talking about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's no thought process in what he's talking about. If he was talking about any other ethnic group other than black people, you could best believe he would have been on there and say, I love Chinese people. I dated Chinese. All kind of stuff would have came out of his mouth at this point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But again, because it's black people, it's just like the meeting lasted about 5 minutes. Hey, listen, man, go out there and tell him that happened in 1950 something. Tell him you was curious kid,
and that's about it. Yeah.
Look, the more I actually sit here and think about that last comment that Jerry Jones made, he made a lot of people a lot of money. Like, where you going with that, Jerry?
Who cares? It's not about the situation.
What does that have to do with anything?
It's almost like I'm a boss and you're a worker. Stay in your place.
Never thought about it. Never thought about it like that. You know what I mean? But there's something to think about. So Stephen A., who was in defense of Jerry Jones, you know what I mean? He's sitting down with Jay Williams. Again, anytime I say this,
shout out to Jay Williams.
Yeah. So, of course, they was on First Take the other day, and they was talking about the response that LeBron had to the comments on the Jerry Jones photo. So, want to play this in its entirety, and you brothers just give me your commentary on it, all right? Here we go.
That's one question. I want to piggyback on what you said. And obviously, even if people are absolving Jerry Jones of being 14 years old, you brought up it's a grotesque moment in history, and you're absolutely right. So it's an opportunity to say, even if you're saying, I was there, being curious, et cetera, an opportunity to condemn that and to condemn what's happened. Do you think that was a missed opportunity, Stephen A., by Jerry, that he should have been more elaborate on it and that moment in history?
Absolutely. It doesn't change my position about a photo being held against him.
Yeah.
But two things can be true. Pointing that out, if you want to address his situation and his history and his questionable history, that's fine. But to use the photo to do it of a 14-year-old, my point is, do we really want? I don't know what the hell I did as a teenager. A lot of us don't want that Pandora's box open. The flip side to it, however, is that doesn't make you wrong with a syllable you uttered about the missed opportunity Jerry Jones had. Jerry Jones, and this is not the first time, he's missed opportunities with Kaepernick. He's missed opportunities with social justice issues. He's missed opportunities when it pertained to Trump. He ultimately took a knee in 2017, but that was after the former president called NFL players sons of bees and stuff like that. Only after that did he finally take a knee. And guess what? When he had that meeting with his players, according to what I was told, when he told the players, this is a business meeting down here in Texas. Okay, if you are going to do something like that, the audience here, our constituency, is going to interpret that as unpatriotic, which could affect our bottom line. If it affects our bottom line, we're going to make sure it affects your bottom line. That's what he said. So my point is, there are a multitude of situations that have occurred over the last half decade or so where you could make a absolutely formidable argument that Jerry Jones had missed an opportunity. But that doesn't mean that photo should be indicative of that.
But here's why I disagree with you, though, Stephen, though, because the photo is a piece of the bigger body of work, and that's what people are referring to, right? It's the entire body of work. So it's all those things you just elaborated on, and then people see the photo, they're like, well, hold on, damn. Right. It's like a piece of the puzzle that you've never seen before. You're like, well, I insert that here. Wow. That makes it look and feel very different. And I will say this to add on to everything that you were on point about. And that's why I ask again, I need him to denounce racism. Because when you're silent these days, Stephen A., you're complicit. You're complicit when you're silent.
Well, you could say that. I agree with you. But I also understand in this day and age, and I'm not talking about Jerry Jones right now. I'm just talking about that generic statement you made in general. There is these days where a syllable or a sentence can cost you so much. Now, he should be worried about that as a damn billionaire, and he shouldn't be worried about that, especially if your heart is in the right place. But I'm just speaking generically. When you talk about that, I don't mind. I sit in this chair every day. You don't mind. You sit in your chair every day. But there's a whole bunch of people that are very well known, celebrities, rich and famous, that don't want no parts of these issues because they know a syllable can be misinterpreted and could cost them everything. So in this day and age, I'm saying to you, the way we have become as a society, even though I don't give a damn and I'm going to say what the hell I feel, there are a lot of people who don't want that smoke.
Yeah, but then it's your moral compass versus the bottom line and what's more important to you as a person.
Well, like you said,
that's
exactly my point, though.
That's a decision.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when I watch Tyler Adams and he pronounces Iran and it's Iran, and the reporter asked him about racial discrimination. Like, everybody is answering these type of questions around the world, the World Cup.
Well, not everybody. Jay, you know a lot of people. You know a lot of people that run the hell away from the microphone and the camera.
Stephen A.
You know that.
Jerry Jones talks about everything under the sun.
Which is why
he runs away from nothing.
Which is why we called him out with Kaepernick and the social justice issues and how silent and conspicuously absent he was. Because we said, you talk all other times. Why the hell you ain't talking now? Say something, Jerry. We said it on this show. Speak up, Jerry. Where you at? We called him out on that because what you so silent. But then you had players coming to his defense. Black players coming to his defense and calling us out for calling him out.
It's okay. You're allowed to see two sides of the coin. Things are going to be seen differently. Being black or being any color isn't being monolithic, right?
I understand.
Like it's the same. I commend LeBron James, and I want to take this opportunity because it's important to me for where you and I are in life. Like, I thank you for having a platform that allows us to have these type of conversations, my man. Because it's a massive platform, and like you just said, media doesn't like to have these type of conversations. No, you saw that with LeBron James the other day. LeBron James had to force his own way to find a way to talk about it. Yeah. Because it was worth him saying.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say thank you for allowing us to have this conversation, because it's really not allowed in a lot of places.
I'm actually happy that we have somebody like Jay Williams that ain't scared to tell the truth. I mean, because a lot of people and a lot of reporters would have dodged this, but now that he's put it on record, you can't dodge it. You got to actually talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You got to give your opinion one way or another, and actually, at this point, Jerry got to be called to the carpet. We need to hear it, Jerry. We need to hear what you think.
Yeah.
We really need to know what's going on in your mind. And if not, if you don't choose to do so, you got to sell the team.
He also Jerry Jones used like an old racist tactic of, saying, like telling his players that this would be perceived as unpatriotic.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's an old racist tactic, man, where it's like, you're telling black people, if we stand up for something that's going wrong, that's wrong here in America, that's unpatriotic. What does that got to do? That Kaepernick thing ain't had nothing to do with no soldiers.
But this is the thing. Isn't protest the most patriotic thing that you can do?
Absolutely.
That's the first thing that we learned in the Philadelphia schools district. We learned about the Boston Tea Party.
Yeah.
How they was upset at the way they were being treated in their conditions, and they went on ahead and they protested, and it turned violent.
Liberty or death, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they was ready to go because of what they stood for and their quality of life.
Malcolm said, man, you shouldn't have let us read your books. That's what the quotes Malcolm. Malcolm said, liberty or death. This sounds good to me. That's what Malcolm said, should have let us read them books, man.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it's crazy. So what do you guys think that just put all the other owners and everybody on notice that might have some skeletons in their closet, kind of get in front of this thing?
At the end of the day, the money that's involved with these professional sports, I don't really know if if this actually would shake them up any, but it should, because at the end of the day, we've seen teams being taken from owners. We had Donald Sterling, we got this guy in Phoenix. It might be Jerry's turn to actually lose his team, so he actually, that would actually put the rest of the NFL on notice, because I don't think it's ever happened to anybody in the NFL. It's only happened in the NBA where the players have more control.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, because the NBA don't play.
Yeah.
They don't play. They get you up out of there. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Obviously, these people have operated within the NBA community for a while. There's been a lot of racists that's in there, and they when it hits the fan, they take care of it. I give them that. The NFL, on the other hand, is a total other beast, and they've been allowed to get away with so much. Even right now, the Washington Commanders owner himself, man, Dan Snyder, man, he's been getting away. He's been getting away with murder on his own. And this is the reason why they believe a lot of this is hitting the fan for Jerry Jones as of right now. I would say the funny thing about these kind of things is that, they can put together a Congress committee in like milliseconds for like alphabet team issue, for a sex scandal, all kinds of other stuff like that. We know that racism is prevalent in the NFL. And if Dan Snyder comes out here and say, there's more where that came from pretty much, why hasn't the government set up something and say, listen, let's open up the books and find out what's going on with this NFL?
But do you think if he keeps going on with it, Dan Snyder, just for people who don't know, he said he had dirt on everybody pretty much in the NFL. A lot of the coaches,
owners,
coaches, owners, everybody, and we're going to jump into that in a second. But do you think that if his investigation, which he did say he had hired private investigators to look into some of this stuff, if the investigations turn up anything, do you think it's incumbent upon them to actually go in and try to investigate the NFL, like actual? Yeah,
they should investigate it already off of what they just did.
Yeah. Because you don't want nobody to view it like this is just like some inside drama, you know what I mean? And nothing comes of it. But if he's bringing up stuff that's legitimate, that should be investigated. Do you think they will investigate? Is what I'm asking.
No, they will not. This is the thing. The NFL and NFL security is tied in with the FBI. So it's no way that they're going to be investigating themselves. It's just not going to happen. The NFL is too big. Will they actually make Jerry get rid of his team? Probably not. Will they make Dan Snyder get rid of his team? Yeah. He's one of those new owners. He's not the old money, you know?
The only thing is with him is, like I said, if he's pulling out stuff like this, and again, we know the guy's a businessman. We talked about this before. If he pulled that out as his first little dirty secret, where is he going to go after this? You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, that's a warning shot. That's just like a shot in the leg, just to let you know. You know what I mean? I'm not playing. You know what I mean? And Jerry was his friend.
This to show you how racist the NFL is in football. Period. Before this new wave of quarterbacks where they just letting black people be as great as they want to be playing quarterback, it was a regular perception amongst everybody in football that black men did not have the aptitude to play quarterback.
Yeah, or middle linebacker.
Yeah, it's like so how racist is that? That's a blanket racist concept. Yeah. And it's just so funny that the first black quarterback that I ever seen win a Super Bowl played for the Washington Redskins, Doug Williams.
Yeah, Doug Williams. Yeah.
Doug Williams. All right, so we're gonna go into Sports Center report about the whole Dan Snyder. If you want to call it a conspiracy, could be conspiracy theory that turns out to be conspiracy fact. Only time I'm going to tell that. So let's go on to this, and then I'll get your brother's commentary on it. All right? Here we go.
For the past 2 years, Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder has been at the center of controversy, which begs the question, how does he still own the team? In interviews with more than 30 people, including team owners and high-ranking league executives, ESPN has learned Snyder has told associates he's used private investigators and other sources to gather enough secrets to blow up several NFL owners and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. Snyder thinks he has enough on all of them, a former senior Commanders executive told ESPN. He thinks he's got stuff on Roger. The NFL is a mafia, Snyder recently told another associate. All the owners hate each other. That's not true, a veteran owner told ESPN. All the owners hate Dan. Sources said they've been told Snyder instructed his law firm to hire private investigators, at least 6 owners, including Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, historically one of Snyder's closest allies. Jones recently told confidants that he might not be able to protect Snyder any longer. Jones declined to comment for this story. A Commander's spokesperson, along with outside lawyers hired by the team, denied that Snyder used private investigators to track team owners and league executives, including Goodell. The spokesperson also denied that Snyder said the owners hate each other, calling the assertions simply ridiculous and utterly false. Snyder's future with the franchise may hinge on the future of his stadium. FedEx Field has been ranked the worst in the league. For years, lawmakers have offered to use government resources to help Snyder build a new stadium. But those potential deals have fallen apart in the wake of the congressional investigation looking into the sexual misconduct allegations against Snyder and his team. While a team spokesperson said the Commanders' business prospects have turned around, one owner said the stadium is falling apart. The team is underperforming. He may have passed the point of no return. The owner told ESPN that Snyder is costing his fellow owners significant money. When asked if fellow owners would forgive Snyder if he could build a new stadium, the owner quickly replied, yes.
So what do you guys think about that? I'm going to play the whole thing in its context. But I want you to, just based on what we heard thus far, what is your opinions on this?
I mean, based on what we heard, yeah, he actually is probably some type of civil war going on between the owners where they actually don't really care for him too much. And that would make sense that he would try to gather some information to protect himself so if they try to take the team away from him, which it seems like that's what's going on.
I want them to open up one of these government attack teams and go in there and start sorting out this paperwork and finding out who's who. You know what I mean?
They got to get that special counsel like they did for Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, man, they create these councils for nothing. But when it comes to black people, if this had to been some sort of LGBTQ community kind of something or another, they'd have a staff already put together and they'd be firing everybody and getting rid of people, man.
A part of me thinks that they don't even want to do it. Because if you start shaking that tree and some things start falling out, it's going to cost a lot of people a lot of money.
A lot of ropes going to fall out of them trees.
And yeah. And what happens is that a lot of these owners and things are there in bed with these politicians, and it's like once you start going down that rabbit hole, it starts leading into all other different areas that they probably don't. I'm pretty sure, not even probably, they don't want you to know about.
Absolutely. Just think they just opened up sports betting. Sports betting is so big right now. Where when we were younger, you could only bet in Vegas and underground in Atlantic City. Now, like you can bet everywhere almost. Everybody got sports books, and the NFL is one of the biggest, the leading things in the sports book.
You know what I always thought was weird about sports booking, like like you said, Jay, you can bet anywhere now. You can sit on your toilet and bet on a game, but it's like then after that they'll tell you, oh, if you got a gambling problem. You just made it accessible to everybody that has a gambling problem the further they issue,
Because again, nobody cares about your issue. We just got to try to get this money.
Trying to get the money. This person probably done bet their crib, the college fund.
Mm-hmm. It's so bad with that.
It's
so bad with that now. They got the apps and stuff like that. They'll give you free money in order to bet money or whatever.
Yeah, to entice you, right?
Yeah. Like, if you got a drug problem, reach out to somebody. But here's some Coke, by the way. Make Coke accessible at every corner store and supermarket. But if you got a drug problem, make sure you check in.
Just in case if you can't afford it, here's a tester.
Yeah.
See you later.
For throw out a few freebies.
Yeah, man.
Not even that, man. That's it. That you got the fantasy football.
Yeah.
You got all this stuff, man, on there, man. Now, so it's a lot of extra money to be made that wasn't being made before, So, Dan Snyder, man, I think if I'm a congressman or something like that, I'm interested to know, what do you know?
What do you know?
Right.
What do you know?
And that investigation may take years. You might not find. We might be, Lord willing, up in age and all. But I don't think they're going to move on it quick. I don't think they're going to do it.
Well,
they stand to lose.
I don't know.
Looks like if they leave Dan Snyder alone, it might go away.
Nah, but they already told him he got to sell the team.
He let that warning shot go. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, right.
All I'm saying is he might want to just, watch his circle, protect yourself at all times.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with money, man. Once you start talking money, people start getting funny.
Yeah, a lot of money. And when you think about the NFL,
money and secrets, Jay. Money and secrets.
Yeah, the NFL, most of their owners have had their teams for at least 20, 30 years. You know what I mean? Like, those owners have been in place for a long time.
Yeah, I think Jerry fired Tom Landry.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so how long? I think I was a child when Tom Landry left Dallas, man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a long time ago, man. But again, Dan Snyder, man, let's see what you know, man. I want to know what's going on, Dan.
Put on the books because a lot of this stuff just, can open up a lot of.
And again, man, to everybody that's listening to our podcast, man, and anybody that's talking about this, y'all should share, y'all should subscribe to these pages, and y'all should push this stuff, man, because again, Brett Favre has already been dropped. And nobody hears about him anymore.
At all.
And what he's doing. And now we got Jerry Jones coming up.
So yeah, definitely push these issues. Let people know that we still talking about it.
Right.
Don't let the idiot in the black mask and his crazy stuff overshadow the real issues. You know what I mean? We're not even going to touch on it as much. You know what? It's an elephant. Jay, you laughing, man? It's an elephant that I really want to go ahead and bag up, but I don't want to do it because I can't. I get
tired of that.
It's tiring, man. It's just I ain't gonna say nothing else about it. I ain't gonna say nothing. Yes. We're gonna get ready to wrap the show because if I keep talking about it, then I'm gonna talk about it. All right. So, thank you once again, gentlemen. Before we go, we got a few recognitions I want to get off the table. These are listeners, subscribers, and people who just overall support the show, and we just want to show our appreciation. Anayo Lisa Jennings, Don Facecard, Orlando De Silva, Tony Kelly, and Nubia Green. This is all we have for right now, but keep listening, and if you are showing us support, definitely we will give you recognition. We don't do shout-outs. Recognition. All right. Thank you once again,
Salute
gentlemen.
to the listeners.
Salute to the listeners. Yeah, keep it going, guys. The Only One Mic podcast is available on all major platforms that you stream your podcasts on. Check us out. The Only One Mic podcast YouTube channel. Now you can catch up on the past and current episodes, and don't forget to rate the show and subscribe. Y'all listening, but we got to get subscribers. The listenership is going up, but we need subscribers, folks. All right. On Instagram and Twitter, you can catch us at The Only One Mic P1, Facebook and LinkedIn at The Only One Mic Podcast, and you can email us at theonlyonemic00@gmail.com, and there you can leave your comments and thoughts on the show. We thank you once again for your time. Thank you, two gentlemen, for your time as well. Great conversation. We encourage you to speak your truth quietly and clearly and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant, because they too have their story to tell. So until next time, please keep in mind that we never had to run from the Ku Klux Klan, so we shouldn't have to run from a black man. Peace.
Share,
like and subscribe.
share.